What's going on, my comrades? It's your boy, the dumbass, who decided, desktop audio and Discord audio are two separate things. FrankandtheFurious back at it again for the first time with a play-in preview predictions with my boy, GalacticEmpire.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's GalacticEmpire here.
So this is take two to let you in behind
Yes,
the scenes. I made a fucky wucky, so we gotta fix the fucky wucky by doing it again. So, we are doing our predictions for the playoff the playoff play-in. There we go. I keep wanting to say preview, but that's not what it is. And we got some notes here. We're going to discuss a little bit about who we think has the edge, issues some teams may have to overcome, and generally, who do we see has dark horses or overrated, etc. And we are going to start with the Eastern Conference this episode. The Western Conference episode should be out in a few days after this. I might release them on the same day. I don't know, but probably a couple days after this. But yes,
we're so just long as they're out by August 1st.
Yeah, they'll be out. They'll be out. But we are going to start with the most interesting series I have, which is Toronto and Columbus, because it is the battle of skill versus teamwork. And it's very intriguing, to say the least, because as my notes I have down here, I have written down the big three. What are we going to see out of Marner, Tavares, and Matthews? Is Matthews going to finally have that amazing breakout playoff performance? Is Mitch Marner going to prove he's worth every penny of that deal? And is John Tavares going to finally go on a deep run in his playoff career?
I'm glad we're not going on that tangent we did last time.
Me too.
That was funny, though.
It was funny.
We were pointing out everything about Toronto and why everything they've done the last 2 years is garbage.
Yes.
Yes,
we were.
Put that there.
But what are we going to see out of the big three? That's what I have scratching my brain wrinkles that I don't have anymore. My smooth brain. That's what I have rubbing up against it right now, is what is going on there?
Yeah.
And is Frederik Andersen, is he capable of stealing games while playing behind a god-awful defense? Basically, playing behind Morgan Riley and occasionally Travis Dermott when he's healthy.
Fair enough, yeah.
I'll give credit where credit's due. Travis Dermott's not bad. But,
the
pylon that is Cody Ceci is.
Yeah, that stupid pylon.
Oh. But
yeah, for me, this was the hardest series out of the 8 to predict here. I mean, you have the offense, which is more on the side of Toronto. Defense, which is obviously on the side of Columbus. And goaltending, which I would give a small edge to Toronto simply because of the fact that we know Frederik Andersen's a goaltender. He's proved it season after season after season. And we've yet to see that with both Corby Salo and Merzlikins. So, for me, I'm looking at also, like we said there, we need to be able to see what Marner, Tavares, and Matthews can do. If they continue to put up points and do stuff like that, then Toronto should be okay. But if Columbus's defense is able to shut them down a peg, their offense is good enough to where it can definitely score 3-4 goals in a game, especially with a non-existent defense. There's only so much that Frederik Andersen can save. So for me, it's going to be a battle between Toronto's defense and goaltending for Columbus. Will Toronto's defense be able to put enough support in front of Frederik Andersen to where Columbus won't be able to get as many goals as Toronto? And will Columbus's goaltenders be able to prove again and show that they can shut down more of Toronto's offense enough to give their own offense enough wiggle room to win some games?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting how Toronto's going to going to handle basically being a glass cannon, in that they're going to have to be on point on offense basically every night.
Yeah, and if they're not there, they lose.
Yep.
Because they are 6th on the power play, which is 23.1. They're actually tied for 5th with Tampa. However, you look at the penalty kill, and they're 77.7. That's not good.
Yeah, that's ooh.
And you look at Columbus, where their power play isn't that good. 27th, 16.4, and penalty kill is pretty solid at an 81.7. So if you ask me and everything, I think the two even out. Columbus's power play isn't the best, and Toronto's penalty kill isn't the best. But if you look at it from another standpoint, though, I would still give the edge to the power play of the Columbus Blue Jackets. You're going to have to rely a lot on Frederik Andersen to come up with the big saves. And if he's not able to do that for you, then that's Columbus's opportunity to win games. So if you're Toronto, you want to keep things 5-on-5, or obviously yourself get the power play, because that's also how you're going to start putting Columbus to bed. So if the main key for me for Toronto is stay out of the penalty box.
That's a good key to have.
And for Columbus, my key for Columbus's win is take advantage of 2-on-1 situations and provide enough offensive support on power plays.
All right. And I just want to mention a couple things here. Columbus, we got the most likely Jack Adams Award winner. Good old Torts. We had a little tangent on Torts and just how incredible he is.
Yeah, he's a piece of work.
He's something.
He's a piece of work, but we love him for it.
Jacob Markstrom just won the Vezina. Well deserved, buddy. In the game right now. But
he's a good goaltender.
He is. He played like it. But yeah, Torts, his ability to get everyone on Columbus to buy into the system.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Is that going to be the tipping point? Is it going to be like kind of Barry Trotz last year against the Penguins, where he got all the Islanders to buy in, and even though they're an inferior team, and yes, I am saying that because they managed to manhandle the Penguins just because everything was on point.
Yeah.
Everyone bought in.
Yep.
So we see that with Columbus. Will Columbus become a dark horse because Tortorella has whipped them all into shape? And of course, I have the Latvian locomotive. Mr. Elvis has entered the building himself. Merzlikins, my new favorite goaltender. We're going to see him this postseason. I mean, he definitely made an argument that he should play some postseason games. While Korpisalo played well, so did Merzlikins.
I agree, but he should play some. He shouldn't play all, though. I would start Korpisalo. In a best-of-5 game series, I'd probably give Merzlikins one start. In like a best-of-7, if they were to get past Toronto. If they were to go 7 games, I would give 5 starts probably to Korpisalo, 2 to Merzlikins, and then maybe vary if needed.
Okay.
Because I do think Merzlikins is a goaltender of the future. I said this in the last one, and I do feel like I should say it here, though. One of the big questions coming into this season for Columbus was goaltending. Is Korpisalo ready to be a starting goaltender? The answer for me, for what I've seen this year, is for the most part. I'm not saying yes, simply because of the fact that I think he played very well this year. Normally, I would say yes, starting goaltender. He's ready. However, you look at the defense that he was behind. He was behind a very solid defensive-minded team this season. And I think that helped with his numbers. Next year, yes, I think he will be absolutely ready to become a starting goaltender for Columbus next year and everything. I think that with him playing behind the defense that he did, helped him this year to be raised to the level that he played at. I think he needed that one more year to become a true starting goaltender. But I definitely think he's definitely the goaltender of the future for Columbus.
Okay.
That's all.
All right. Yeah, that's all the notes I have. So, who are you taking in this series?
I really did. I went back and forth on this one a lot.
That's very understandable.
Obviously, it's going to be going 5 games. I said this before for even when my voice was not recorded, so I'm going to have to explain it now. I tend to go with the more defensively and goaltended favored teams 9 times out of 10. And for me, defensively, Columbus is really good. And see, I still go back and forth about this one, but I'm giving it to Columbus 3-2.
Yeah, I think it's definitely also
Good
going to be a
Lord.
7-game series.
I look at Columbus's defense, and obviously there's the advantage, but I look at Toronto's offense based upon the two goaltender, but based upon both teams' goaltending, and it evens it out. It's going to be a good series. It really is.
Oh, definitely. It's going to be a fierce and very competitive series because these are two teams that I guess evenly matched. It's just it's so hard to decide. Okay, a lot of series, it's like, okay, there's kind of an obvious like edge a team has, but here it's just like, fuck, who knows? Who knows?
Yep.
And to kind of complement that, I'm swaying the other direction and say Toronto has been due for a run. Matthews is due to have a breakout series. At some point, they have to do something, right? I mean, the Blues and the Capitals have won the past 2 cups. Anything is possible now. So I think this is the year Toronto finally gets over these, since these aren't technically playoffs, just these big pressure moments. Finally gets over these demons and wins, even though it's not a playoff series, just win a meaningful run of games. A series, basically. Just win something. I think we're finally going to see that.
Okay.
They're due.
Because it's not Boston.
That too.
Because everybody knows Boston's bad matchup for Toronto.
Oh, yes, it is. Speaking of Boston, we get to go to the series with 2 teams that have nothing to do with Boston. The New York Islanders and the Florida Panthers. This one's fun. Because it's just like the series before of there are some obvious edges, but it's really just a few key factors that determine this series. And I have written down in 3 letters, big written down, what the hell are we going to see from Bob?
Bobrovsky.
Paging Bobrovsky. Is Sergei Bobrovsky going to show up at some point this season?
Yeah, that's the biggest factor. If Bobrovsky shows up, Florida wins. If Bobrovsky doesn't show up, they lose. It's really just going to depend.
They just
Florida
need
has the offense
Bobrovsky
that's
to play
there.
average.
The Islanders aren't doing what they did last year. They have that team, but that specialness about them is gone. That surprise factor is gone. I don't see it being the same as it was last year. We're really just going to have to. Literally, the entire series for me is depending on how Bobrovsky performs.
Yeah, Florida, it rides and dies by Sergei Bobrovsky.
Yeah, if Bobrovsky plays fantastic, I think Florida could win it 3-1. If Bobrovsky doesn't show up, I still don't see it being a sweep, but I do see it going more or less 3-1 the way of the Islanders.
Yep.
So, and then obviously you could have a Bobrovsky that shows up one night and doesn't the other, and then the whole thing is just a whole bunch of mess. It's just a mess.
Paging Sergei Bobrovsky.
So yeah.
I also have it written down here.
That's literally all I have on it is what is Bobrovsky gonna do? I really don't have anything else. The Islanders, Matthew Barzal, I mean, they have a couple of good pieces, but nobody really special to take them over the top. And then, I don't know. I don't. The Islanders, for me, have nothing special anymore. And I think it started to show at the end of the regular season before the pause. Which leads me and even at a half-baked Bobrovsky, how are the Islanders going to do with that? So yeah. I'm ready to do my prediction for this one.
I got a couple notes in here because I want to mention one. We all talk about Bobrovsky, but we can also talk about how Florida's defense wasn't helping on most nights. And they don't have a bad defensive core, which is strange on paper. Aaron Ekblad, Keith Yandel, that's deadly. But for some reason this year, it's just a perfect... It's Florida. Florida finds ways to lose. It's so strange. And this year, they just decided, you know what? We gave a goaltender $10 million, and you know what? Our defense and goaltending will collapse. So, are we going to see the defense pull themselves together? Are we going to see big series out of Keith Yandel, as these might be his last legitimate chances for runs? Are we going to see Aaron Ekblad maybe take that belated next step? I wanted to bring that up for Florida. And the Islanders, what are we going to see with good old the French kid himself, French-Canadian, Jean-Gabriel Pageau? Because when he's in the playoffs,
I forgot about that factor.
He's pretty good in the playoffs. The problem is, the moment he got to Long Island, the dude has been nothing short of ass hair. So, what are we going to see with Pageau? Is Pageau going to be the Pageau from 2017 with Ottawa, where, oh my God, he's going to put the team on his back? Or are we going to see more of the same that we saw with Pageau, where he was leading the Islanders straight out of the playoffs? So, and especially since he just got a very healthy raise. So, he definitely has some motivation to earn it, kind of.
Yeah.
And I'm interested to see players like Brock Nelson. What are we going to see from Nelson? He had a really good year. He also got a hefty raise last offseason. Are we going to see big playoffs out of him? Because he had some key goals last year. He came up strong for them and then disappeared in the second round after proceeding to pat the Carolina goaltender on the head, which then killed him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's that. Those are my notes. But yeah, who do you got taking this series?
I have it 3-2, and I'm picking the Islanders. On the fact that they do have a really good team. I do think they have what it takes to get into out of the play-ins and into the actual playoffs. And also because of the fact that I have for years defended Florida over and over and over again and said, okay, this is the year, this is the year, this is the year. I'm done. I'm done with the bullshit. I've learned my lesson, and something will go wrong with Florida. Hell, watch their offense not show up in this play-in series. Something will go wrong with Florida that nobody suspected, and they'll lose. That's just Florida. So I have the Islanders winning 3-2.
I'm glad
as much as I'd love to have Florida winning, I can't.
I'm glad one of our balls dropped because I'm still a whipped boy and I'm picking the Florida Panthers because I know I've been hurt by them like the past 3 years consecutive. Everything you say about them, they say they're a rebellious teenager that's like no, and then they do the opposite. That is the Florida Panthers. But I am still that sad dad who is just trying his best to build a relationship with my dear child Panthers. And I am still whipped by them. It's literally the meme of, honey, it's time for your 3 a.m. choking out of the playoffs, Panthers. And then it's, yes, dear, as I watch the Panthers drop out of the postseason. Florida in 4. Bob pulls his shit together. That's my
Even
tangent.
if he pulls his shit together, I don't know, what's his face is gonna get injured or something. Something's gonna go wrong. It's just gonna happen. Something's gonna go wrong.
If you know what, if something happens with Florida, I've officially gone to scorch earth policy with that team. You know what? Sell everyone.
Barkov won't show up, and then
trade
something
everyone.
And
make every dismantling of a team look like a fucking joke. First line center Nola Chari. That is all, folks. Okay, next series. Probably a very lopsided one with the good old Pittsburgh Penguinos and the Montreal Canadiens.
Should we put a preface in front of this one or no?
No.
Okay.
No.
As we think about it.
Let me think about it.
Let me think about it. Do we have people hate us or no?
So.
Okay. So. I don't even know where to start with this one. I guess I'm going to start with this. Because the Penguins are the better team in this everywhere. They're the better team. So, for me, there is one way and only one way only that I can see the Montreal Canadiens winning this series. Carey Price needs to return to 2016 form.
My only note I have down for this series is the price right? With Drew Carey.
Yeah. The only way Montreal can win this series is Carey Price. I'm sorry, but when you have a Pittsburgh team with Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin, a very healthy Jake Gensel, a goaltending duo who honestly is both really good. Jari stepped in when Murray was having his downfall, and towards the end of the season, we put Murray back in net, and he pre-produced. So I'm sorry, but I don't see a way that you beat the Penguins roster. Yes, you're going to have big players, Thomas Tatar and
Thomas Tatar.
Thomas Tatar.
and another players that can definitely do some damage. But I'm sorry, I don't see it. I have Pittsburgh actually drop. I do have Pittsburgh dropping a game, and that's simply because of the fact that knowing Pittsburgh, both Penguins and Steelers in general, you choked teams who are garbage. However, that's more of a Steeler thing than a Penguins thing. It does happen with the Penguins. Look at the fucking road trip that they did through California. What the hell was that? But I do have them winning 3-1 because it's just gonna happen. The Penguins are gonna drop a game. It's just gonna happen. It's not going to be that the Canadians did anything right. It's just that the Penguins fucked up somewhere.
I'll give more credit to the Canadians, especially since it seems like Max Domi is coming back, and he's a big
that's
beast.
good news.
To be honest,
without Max Domi, what the hell is this team?
Dude, literally just like, yes, Barry Kakaniemi, have fun out there. Do whatever you want. But yeah, my notes are: is the price right? That is the only question I have. Is the price right?
Because Carey Price has this single-handed ability to drag any fucking team anywhere they want to, if he's playing good. He could play for Ottawa right now, and he could beat Tampa. He could beat Pittsburgh. He could beat anybody if he's doing what he did in 2016. If he plays God tier beast mode, you just don't win. You just don't.
Carey Price cares enough.
That's the only way that Canadians win.
Carey Price cares enough. He drags any team kicking and screaming into the postseason. It doesn't matter to him.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's either that or Pittsburgh chokes, because Pittsburgh can choke.
Oh. We all
it's
know
happened
too
before.
Well.
I've seen it way too many times, especially with the Steelers. Pittsburgh. That's besides Carey Price turning into God mode. The only way I see this happening is if Pittsburgh comes into it. Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin are just existing, and the rest of the team is just like, what are we doing? I don't see them like actually full on blue on choking, but more or less just a stagnation of standing in a pile of cow shit.
That sums it up perfectly.
Exactly!
Pens in 4.
We both agree Pens in 4 because somehow, some way they'll fuck up a win.
I mean, I'll give credit to Montreal. I mean, it's not like they're Detroit.
No.
And Carey Price, he's had a rough couple of years, but he still has that ability to steal a game. It's just whether or not he can steal many games.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I think Montreal does steal a game, but I still say Pittsburgh in 4.
Yep.
And that leaves us with, last but not least, the Carolina Hurricanes versus the New York Rangers. This is a fun series because these two teams are going in different directions, kinda, at the time of the pause.
Yep.
And they're very interesting teams because everyone has been writing off Carolina because New York has a shiny new toy with Igor Shesterkin and Artemi Panarin, which I saw the Rangers coined on Twitter, and I love it now, Artemi Panarin, the bread man. But are we just going to forget what Carolina has done last year and they still have mostly the same core and have just added pieces to it?
Yeah, what is Carolina's defense? Holy shit.
Carolina can literally afford to play Sammy Vatanen, Brady Shea, and Joel Edmondson on a fourth line and still put out a solid top six. It is absurd. Carolina's depth on defense is godly. And when they have my boy, Svechnikov, my roommate absolutely loves this guy because this guy just has fun playing hockey, and I want to see the Michigan in the playoffs. I need to see it. So, yeah, I got Svetch down here because I want to see how he builds on this season as well, because he had a good rookie season last season. But like this year, he's really come into his own. He avoided that sophomore slump. He got better. So, I want to see what he's going to do in the postseason. And let's hope he doesn't get knocked out by Alex Ovechkin again.
Yeah.
So,
my
questions with Carolina, I'll try to wrap this up quickly, is Mrazek a good starter? Like, he had a good postseason last season, but is Mrazek someone you want to rely on a deep run? And I lean more towards the category of no. And are we going to see bounce backs from Niederreiter? And is Jake Gardiner going to get permanently benched or sheltered in big games? Because Carolina has the defense to do it. And Jake Gardiner has proven over the past few years, in big games, he is actively hurting the team.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Those are my thoughts on Carolina.
Yeah, my biggest thought on Carolina is consistency of goaltending. You look at New York and you see 3 goaltenders that can start, and you look in Carolina and you see 2 goaltenders that can start, but both have issues. Consistency issues.
But
for me, both teams are hard to read. Carolina has been the definition of inconsistency for the last 2 decades. Does this team change that? The Rangers have been up and coming. They have great pieces. Artemi Panarin. Whatever his name is. Rookies, Adam Fox, Shesterkin's coming in. Dear Lord, you had that 5-goal game from
Zibanejad
versus the Capitals. I love that game. That was a great game. So for me, really, it's a battle between relevant. I don't know how to put this. It's basically, I see both teams as wild cards. I'm not sure what to expect from both of them, but at the same time, I know what they're bringing to the table. But I don't think that either team is achieving what they set out to do.
Okay, that's a fair assessment.
So this one was hard for me, and I'm more or less, this is the one that I more or less put a gut feeling out of. Even though I said I have Toronto and Columbus going back and forth. This one here, honestly, I had this one picked from the beginning, and it's more of a gut feeling simply because I like the direction that this team is heading in better. And for me, that's the New York Rangers.
Okay.
And I have them doing it in 5. I like the direction that they were going into. I like the options of goaltending. Artemi Panarin was a god this year. He'll be able to light up the scoreboard. Somehow the Rangers just were able to get stuff done. and I like the momentum they had going for them, and I'm thinking that they're going to be able to continue that. So
Okay.
I have the Rangers in 5.
Well, I'm going to be on the flip end, and I think everyone has already written off Carolina just because the Rangers were having a good run down the stretch. But I would like to counter and say that means nothing now. There is no momentum
you're right.
going
It doesn't.
into it. There is no momentum. And I prefer Carolina in this instance. So that's why I'm going with the good old Canes.
In?
I'll say 4.
Okay, that's fair.
I'll say 4, but they will be close games. It won't be all Carolina
high-scoring
dominates.
games. I know Carolina's defense is really good, but I have a feeling they're going to be higher-scoring games, 4 or 5 goals.
Yeah, Carolina wins this by limiting shots heavily on Mrazek. Give Mrazek an easy time.
Yeah. Carolina's defense is going to determine how many games that they let slip out of their hands. Yeah. Because I agree. I think Carolina's going to have control of a lot of the games. I think it's going to be a more or less of how many are they going to let the Rangers have, and how is Mrazek going to perform on how many shots he's taking. Because I agree. Like I said, I do like the Hurricanes. I like what they're putting together. Like I said, this one here, my prediction for this one out of all of the series is less factual than any of the others. I just have some kind of good feeling about the Rangers. So,
I mean, you're definitely not alone. A lot of people do. But yeah,
the Carolina Hurricanes can absolutely win this one.
I guess that wraps it up here. Yeah, we pretty much only agreed on Pittsburgh.
Yes, we did.
Watch. The Canadians will win. That will be the one seed.
It's okay, but then the hockey gods will treat Pittsburgh with Lafreniere, because that's what that's what happens.
The hockey gods will go
the NHL just gifts. They gifted Penguins Crosby. They gifted him. They gifted them Lemieux. They'll just gift them Lafreniere this time.
As hockey fans around North America will proceed to make
around
any
the world
riot
cringe
they will make any riots that have happened look like a fucking joke. Vancouver will burn.
Vancouver, we're staging you.
Vancouver will burn.
We
don't know why.
Imagine
just because
the draft is in Montreal. Imagine the fact that the Montreal Canadiens beat the Penguins and lose their hometown player to the Penguins.
That would be hilarious.
That would be. Oh no!
But yeah, we're gonna wrap this one up here. I'd like to thank y'all for watching. Go check out Galactic's channel. I'm gonna leave a link down below. And there's
a lot of other content. I haven't posted any hockey content. I was thinking about it, and I'm still going to, but I've just never gotten around to it.
Well, I will let the viewers in on a dear secret in that we have a project in mind, so expect to see that in the near future. Maybe that'll be on my channel, maybe that'll be on Galactic's, maybe it'll be back and forth. We will see, but you'll see.
So long as you do the editing.
Sure. I'll do some editing.
But yeah. I don't edit. Everything on my channel is bad.
Oh, I do very limited editing, as my loyal subscribers know. But yeah, I'd like to thank y'all for watching. But above all else, stay cute out there, my comrades.